Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
Welcome to the Visiting Speaker Series. I'm glad you guys are able to come way over to West Campus and join us here. Our talk today is on innovation, which of course is a topic of much interest to many folks throughout the company. How do we do that? How do we do that when we're huge? How do we do that in small pieces? How do we do that in large pieces? John Sweeney was a corporate real estate mogul for many years and then decided what he really wanted to do was act. So he opened a theater in Minneapolis and has been doing workshops on innovation since then, and has just done incredible work with lots of companies. And I'm really pleased that he was able to spend some time with us here at Microsoft today. You're just going to love him. I'm so excited that you guys get to meet him. So please help me welcome John Sweeney.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. I really am grateful to all the folks who made it possible for me to come here. Forgive me for being real excited. My background is I'm from a dairy farm in Wisconsin. And so to be here speaking on innovation at Microsoft is pretty darn exciting. And I'm humbled and really grateful that I'm here with you. It's also a bit intimidating to speak on the topic of innovation in a place that is known as the world leader in innovation. So know that today I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm not here to tell you how to change your behavior. When I started doing speeches for a living, I decided I really didn't like people who came into my workplace and told me what I should do when they had no idea what I did. And so what I'm here to do today is to share what I know about the art of improvisation and kind of in a liberal arts learning model, look at perhaps how you look at innovation a little bit differently through the eyes of an improviser. And part of what we do at the Raven Workshop is to ensure that we're always having fun while we're learning. So today will be very interactive and today will be very fun. Part of what my message is today is that the core belief we have as the nation's oldest improvisational theater is that all of us were created innovatively equal and innovatively perfect. And so we'll have that premise to carry with us all day today. And we believe that because of kids. If you give me 3 5-year-olds from anywhere in the globe, as long as they have some sort of communication abilities, and I ask those 3 5-year-olds to do a scene together, to be a pirate, a cowgirl, and a ham sandwich. Go. They just go. They just start playing. If I ask a senior executive of marketing in a large corporation in America to be a cowgirl, a sandwich, or a pirate, they might have some questions. Things like, when you say pirate, is that Caribbean or Indian Ocean pirate? Because there'd be a very disparate behavior pattern. Now, the ham sandwich wouldn't have a mouth, so should the ham sandwich be quiet throughout the scene? What if there was a strategic plan between the cowgirl and the sandwich? Wouldn't they be able to interact a little bit better? And so what we think is, after watching all ages of improvisation, is that somehow through education or socialization or parenting or something, we stray farther and farther away from our place of most natural and organic innovation. And so what we do as improvisers is just trying to, on a daily basis, try to keep walking backwards towards that most innovative place. And so hopefully some of the insights that we've learned in 46 years of improvisation and some of the things that we'll actually do today will help you rekindle that place and help you get back to your most innovative self. So let us begin. Before we talk about what I have learned about improvisational innovation, I need to tell you a little bit about this wonderful theater that my wife and I own. The Brave New Workshop was started by a man named Dudley Riggs in 1958. He started this theater because in 1954 he fell off a high flying act for Barnum and Bailey's circus and broke 42 bones in one fall. And so he decided that he wanted to do something a little bit safer with his life. And he started doing instant theater in New York. It was kind of the last days of vaudeville. And he would get suggestions from the audience, and they would do a one-act play off the top of their head as kind of a warm-up act. Took that on the road, fell in love with a woman in Minneapolis, and we have not missed a weekend performing since May of 1958. At the bottom you'll see our motto. We've had that for 46 years. Promiscuous hostility, positive neutrality. We're for everybody, and we mess with everything. We do 3 things at this little theater. First thing we do is these main stage shows. So we write 5 original sketch comedy shows per year. The one that we're just closing right now is called Martha Stewart Prison Jamboree. And it's based on the wonderful life of our friend Martha Stewart. We also have one of the largest schools of improvisation in the entire world. We have about 300 students per week come to our little theater, adult students. They go through a 1.5-year-long curriculum. You might be surprised to know that 80% of those are from the business world. They're not trying to learn how to perform improvisation. They're trying to use improvisation as a way to communicate better, to lead better, to innovate better. They go through a 1.5-year-long program. And again, our goal there is to try to lead them gently towards their most innovative self. And then we try to inspire with taking what we've learned in 46 years and bring it to corporate America. And I do about 120 of these presentations or training sessions per year. And so we're real busy taking improvisation into the workplace. So what is it? At its basic form, its non-performance form, it's making something from nothing. It's the ability to gain a little bit of information and expand it and expand it and expand it. I'll talk a little bit about Moore's Law. I've done a little bit of research here on computers. I went to a liberal arts Catholic college, so I didn't learn a lot. But it was interesting to see Moore's Law and to think of how fast we have to double information in an improv scene. And for the last couple weeks, I've been watching our scenes, and I think we doubled the information about every 12 to 14 seconds was my best calculation, is that we would just completely double the content of the scene every 12 to 14 seconds. Improvisation to us is to perform. We get information from the audience, where the scene would take place, what they'd like us to see us do on stage, and then in usually 2 to 3 minutes, we figure out who we are, where we are, what we need to accomplish, what roles we'll play in front of our customers based on a suggestion we've never heard. They've paid for us to be funny while we're working together off the top of our head. So let me show you a little bit of improvisation. What I'll do right now is I'll improvise a story for you. So I'll walk around the room and I'll tell you a story. But from time to time, I'll tap someone on the shoulder. And I want you to shout out whatever comes to the top of your head. Now notice today, one of the things that we'll battle is very, very cerebral linear thought. And watch as I touch people on the shoulder how they will try to fill in the blank of the sentence correctly, to say the thing that makes sense, to say the thing that should be next in line. I'd like you to do the opposite. I'd like you to start practicing the simple, almost athletic procedure of getting empty and discovering your next thought. Improvisers really, really learn the difference between manufacturing ideas and discovering ideas. When we discover ideas, we think mathematically we're accessing the creative and innovative universe. And the possibility of the next idea is infinite. When we manufacture the idea, we think we're relying on this tiny little hard drive full of information. We see that in scene work because when people are manufacturing ideas, they tend to go back to what they know. So I'm 39, lots of pop culture references if I'm in my head. Scooby-Doo, Gilligan's Island, Rocky I, all that sort of stuff comes out. And if I'm not discovering, you'll see me manufacturing kind of the same old boring comedy. If I'm discovering, I'll talk about things that I really don't know what they mean at the time. You'll see me in what we call the white light of improvisation. So when I come and tap you on the shoulder, please don't try to think of what you should say. Just get empty and say whatever comes next. As an improviser, it's my goal, and the pressure's on me, to take what you say and immediately incorporate it into the content of the story, justify it, make it make sense, and continue our story. So today we'll tell you the story, since we're here at Microsoft Research. We'll tell you the improvised story of a research project that not many people in this room really know about. It's one of my favorite improvised stories, and it happened, of course, in the late 80s. It came from an odd part of the company. There was a request that they had noticed that the market had shown a new need. They had done some focus group, and it seemed that there were some end users who needed to
have a new dishwasher.
Have a new dishwasher. You see, there were some bacterial disease problems in the Midwest of the United States, and because the dishwashers simply weren't sterilizing the plates enough. And they thought perhaps this research group could help them develop some sort of new technology. So the first thing we needed is to collect information. We went right to the source. We went to
those bright pink shoes.
Those bright pink shoes. If you've ever been in a middle-class home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you'll realize that most of the women there wear bright pink shoes. We're a bit unfashionable in that part of the world where I come from. And so they went to bright pink shoes. And as you know, code words are a big thing around here. And so this became Project Bright Pink Shoes. But it really was trying to help the housewives of the Midwest. So they did research and they asked questions like, very quiet secret questions. There were times where they would just put these kind of stout German farm women in a room and just stare at them for a while. The silence seemed to emit some information that we couldn't get from standard questions. But the clearest information they got with that is these people needed help washing their dishes in the form of towels or fouls? Towels. You see, they were so disappointed with the current technology of hot water and soap that they were actually going back to the towel method. They were hand drying all of their dishes because the old world method was working better. And that's where we found our breakthrough. Our first prototype was called the Mountain Dew. The Mountain Dew. You see, it was based on the premise of moonshine stills. We used a complete copper interior of the new dishwasher, and now I'll really be improvising, the ionic quality of the copper actually extracted the bacteria off the plates. It attached itself to the copper, much like the Mountain Dew still of Appalachia does when it's distilling alcohol. So now we had Mountain Dew as our next code word. And so this prototype was made completely of copper, but we needed to put some sort of software in it. So we had a software that made it
clean socks.
Clean socks. And boy, was marketing happy about this. Talk about a dual operational machine. We're going to clean dishes and clean socks at the same time. And so we brought it to R&D, and the first thing they told us was,
trust me.
Trust me. I'm the only one in the room that doesn't know why that's funny, but I love it. And so we trusted R&D, but soon they started doing the number crunching, and they found that there was one flaw, and that was it didn't sell. Not that that has ever stopped any product launch in this company before, but somehow, did I hear a very nice. Come on, promiscuous hostility, I got to hit you a little bit. And so it wasn't selling, but we realized, and this is where research, I think, always just kind of steps up to the plate, that it wasn't the product, it was the market. We needed to start approaching the
Black light.
The black light?
Yeah.
The black light. You're not familiar with this group? There is a certain demographic of 38 to 54-year-old mothers who just love AC/DC and Kiss. And you'll know who they are because in their kitchen they've got all the posters. And when Dad goes to work, Mrs. Cleaver turns on the black light and it's rock and roll in the kitchen time! And so we finally figured out that they were the people who we needed to sell it, this black light group of people. And so it made it to the market and it sold pretty well, but then the idea was bought by Microsoft. It was just a real short 6-month product in which we would develop something and then buy it from ourselves. And really out of the box, but talk about doubling, it almost doubled our cost. Give yourselves a round of applause. So a silly little thing that I do for a living, I make up stuff. I try to make it up in a way that makes people laugh. I try to make it up in a way that at least incorporates some of the content. But think of, as silly as that was, some of the things that I needed to do to accomplish that. First thing I needed to do is I needed to trust you. I've never met anyone in the room except for a couple people that I brought from Minneapolis before yesterday or today. And I put the story in your hands. I was okay having you as my story-generating partners. And I believed that whatever you said would be okay. I believed you'd respect me, you'd respect the rest of the organization, you'd respect our time together. And I believed that my skills as an improviser were high enough that it didn't really matter what you said. I'd be able to incorporate it. Notice how I had to be comfortable with absolutely not knowing where the story was going. How I had to be comfortable with not knowing the end of the story. How I had to be comfortable incorporating things into the story that I certainly wasn't an expert on, let alone I didn't even know what they meant. I think I heard the word ionic on a Sharper Image commercial. And it's like $300, and the air comes through, and then it's ionized, ion. They say that like 20 times in a 30-minute, and then it doesn't do anything, and then you pay for it. So, but we needed to incorporate that in at that time. Notice how I tried to, although I was following the story, I was also trying to get my own personal input to mold the story. I was following the follower. So those are some of the skills that I've developed in 15 years or so of improvisation. And it's just a small example. Usually when we improvise, it's a group of people taking a suggestion and creating stories about that. 46 years we've been doing this. And it's kind of been a laboratory. We've been observing to watch how these people interact together and observed how they can create a team, a storyline, and a resolution in 2 minutes. It's the speed at which we improvise that I think has revealed these secrets. We don't have time to do a lot of the things that most business groups do because we just have to get it done. We have about 10 seconds to catch your attention. Otherwise, you'll check out. We have to change the scene about every 5 seconds. So we're working at this hyper speed, and what happened over the years is when we throw the experiment into that pace, things really came out. If you don't listen with absolutely everything inside you, you will be lost in an improv scene in about 2 to 3 seconds. You just can't play. It's like a race, you just fall behind. So these skills as improvisers really, really show themselves over the years. This is, again, when I read a little bit about Moore's Law, it made me laugh because if we had 18 months to double our information, I mean, we wouldn't know what to do with each other. That would just be so, so long. So you'll give us a word, and then the first sentence, and then the second sentence, and then the environment, and then the characters, and then the conflict, and then the resolution. And we've got a 3-minute play off the top of our heads at the speed of laughter. And so we've learned some things. So what do we do with these secrets? My wife and I bought the company from its founder, Dudley Riggs, in 1997, and so we've really incorporated these secrets into lots of things. We create our products, those hour and 45 minutes comedy shows, and I'll show you our process for actually creating that script. We manage all of our employees. Our vacation policy is take care of yourself in the scene, and if you need to leave the scene, make sure that you've communicated with the other partners in the scene so they'll take care of your situation while you're gone. If that means 6 months vacation, that's what it means. We trust you, we believe you're going to take care of yourself, and you're going to make sure that stuff gets done while you're gone. Just like you would in a scene. You'd never just exit a scene without making sure your point of view wasn't still represented there. We develop our talent. Our customer service plan is us and the customer is a 2-person scene. Do all the things you do in a regular scene. Listen, respect their point of view, and try to find a positive resolution for the end of the scene. Unless they're completely outrageous or drunk, and then call me and I'll throw them out of the building. But we try to improvise with our scene partners. And now lately, in the last 3 years, we've been asked to go through this process and to develop lots and lots of ideas for our clients. I'll give you an example. We did this for ourselves, this process. This book that we wrote, it's the first one I've ever written. We don't know anything about the book industry. We don't know anything about much. But we got some lucky breaks. We got national distribution, and then we got an opportunity to go to New York and to make an impact to a group of people who would ultimately sell our books. And so we went through this process that we do of coming up with hundreds and hundreds of ideas, refining them to find an exceptional, innovative idea. And we went through that process, and we developed what we would do for that 10 minutes, for our 10 minutes chance. And I'll show you the video of that. It's not the greatest quality, but what you'll see what we decided on is for me to talk about the book as any other author would, while my artistic director, Caleb McEwen, threw knives at my head. By the way, make sure to put your video in the same folder as your PowerPoint presentation. It creates a link. Just learned that yesterday. What we do as improvisers is we learn how to accept all ideas. Not just ideas that we're comfortable with, but all ideas at the beginning of the process. Even ideas that perhaps make us frightened. It wasn't for everybody. The next thing that we do is we learn to defer judgment for the first 15% of an idea's life. That gives you the mathematical ability to affect other ideas and to create a new idea that perhaps did not exist. Sometimes we have to defer those judgments for a long time. Those ideas ultimately have a chance to be implemented.
Be careful about Hechler.
We take these training programs into corporations, ultimately trying to help these people change their behavior. We have them look at the corporate world as an improviser. As improvisers, we do one thing really well. We look at change as fuel, not as a problem, not as an obstacle, but a way to get to the next solution. If we do these things and 5 other secrets that you can read about in the book, we change the culture of that environment. We help them produce more and better ideas and ultimately make them more productive. And most importantly, we create an environment that's completely safe. One of the reasons that we're fortunate enough to be here today is because someone who was in that audience made some introductions for us and ultimately led for being us today. So it worked. This funnel process, this is how we develop our product, which is an hour and 45-minute scripted sketch comedy show. Saturday Night Live was based on our theater. One of our alumni is Al Franken and Tom Davis, who are the original writers for Saturday Night Live. So we take a team of 8 people through a 56-day process. Day 1 is the top. Day 56 is opening night, and we create this complete screenplay with stage directions, with lighting and sound, and with all the dialogue and character descriptions. It's a real important night for us when we launch that product. There's 7 critics in the audience. If they all hate it or if they all love it, could be up to a 50% swing in ticket sales in the next 12 weeks. We run these shows for 12 weeks. 2 or 3 of those in a row, and we're done. After 46 years, I'd be the guy who took that theater down the drain. That's how volatile the theater industry is. So we've got lots and lots of market pressure. The first thing that we do is I walk into the room and I say a word or a phrase which is the theme of that show. For Martha Stewart, Prison Jamboree, the theme was entitlement. Remember, we're always trying to piss people off. And so we've kind of come to grips in the last couple of years that perhaps America has become a place of entitlement. Maybe we think we're entitled to a little bit more than the rest of the world. So let's mess with that. So I walk in and say entitlement. First thing that we do is in 72 hours we develop 600 one-sentence ideas. There's where our first policy comes in. We're not allowed to go to the next stage in product development until we get 600. 550 doesn't work. 600. We have a 24-to-1 ratio of ideas needed to generate great product. Because at the bottom of the funnel, we typically perform about 25 sketches or songs. That's ultimately what we decide upon. We consider ourselves pretty innovative people, but we still recognize that we need a 24-to-1 ratio to come up with great, great, great innovative comedy. That's a little different than most corporations I work with. I don't see people giving themselves enough time to come up with the bulk of ideas at the beginning of the process. Once we get 600 ideas, then we have each team member pick the 25 that they're most passionate about. Now, no, that's different than the 25 that I or the director thinks are the best ideas. We absolutely believe in is that if you've got people working on ideas that they're passionate about, they will have an end result that's more profitable and more innovative than if you ask them or worse, force them to work on ideas that you think, or as a leader, is the best for them to work on. So as you can see on the left-hand side, the secrets that we've learned affect us all the way down through the funnel. We write the key elements, the kind of beat sheets of the sketches, then we improvise them, we refine them, we cut them, we put 2, 3 together, we do all these things, and it makes its way to the bottom of the funnel. And this process can be done in 56 days or in an hour. Can't come up with 600 ideas in an hour, but if you just need some help on an idea, start out with that funnel process. It can be done in an hour meeting. We really, really have found success. This is what clients ask us to go through. I'll give you another case study. We're the creative director for the Minnesota Timberwolves basketball team. You may be familiar with them because the Seattle Supersonics just kicked our butt and knocked us out of the playoffs last week. We're meeting with them tomorrow, and half of me wants to yell at them, and half of them wants me to ask them from their business. But our little NBA franchise in Minneapolis had a problem. 2 things. One is they're in Minnesota. Minnesota sports fans bring newspapers to the game. They're very, very quiet. There's a reason why the Vikings choked 4 times, is because Minnesotans have a governor on their success. You don't want to win the big one. People might talk at church. So they don't get too pumped up. I'm a Packer fan. If we're winning, take off your clothes. Do something. Go nuts. It's 40 below. Have more vodka. Enjoy the game. That's where I come from. They're very, very polite. So they wanted something to get the fans a little bit excited. Then they have a media problem. We're a flyover city. People don't know much about Minnesota nationally. They didn't get much national attention. Last year we had the most valuable player in the whole league, the best player on the planet, and wasn't getting any press. So they said, let's come up with something during the game that gets the fans pumped up and gets us some national press attention. Those were our goals for this project. We went through the funnel. we came up with, let's look at this situation. Why don't they get excited? Well, they're just not comfortable. Well, then let's go there. Let's make it illegal. Let's get so excited it's illegal. We came up with an idea to have a character named Jiggly Boy get really, really excited at a game, and then have some cops come and arrest him for his excitement. And then we just figured we'd see what would happen.
Two-game swing, knocking the Mavericks 4.5 games back in the Midwest. They were dancing in the aisles at Target Center. They're the no fun league, aren't they? Come on, he's just showing Wolf spirit tonight. Tonight's Dallas in town. Always fun stuff. Some having more fun than others. What's up with that guy that was dancing?
That's okay.
Why having a good time?
Well, our fans in the mug, you know, there ought to be a law. You know? Well, apparently in Minnesota, there is.
Dude, stop doing that stuff.
Yeah, put your shirt on.
Put your shirt on. Thank you. I'm the youngest of 8 children from an Irish Catholic family, and Mom's just so proud of her little boy. $60,000 worth of college. Take your shirt off. We started out with just trying to have some fun, and you'll see today that we really believe, as trite as it sounds, that fun / energy / just going out there and really being passionate about what you're doing adds to the process. It's fuel for us. It gets us going. We didn't think they would buy it. They still think that was real. They still don't know that I was an actor. They still don't know. I mean, the Today Show went from Fan of the Month to 2004 Fan of the Year. They don't get it yet. You can fool everybody all of the time. And we accomplished our goals. The rest of the season was great. This was last year when we were actually winning. And it got more attention. It ran on SportsCenter 13 times in 2 days. It got more national media attention than they had in the 15 years of their franchise, mostly because we went through our process. We really believe that people don't come up with the idea like that. We believe the idea comes from a process. 600 for 25. As a performer, I don't come up with lots of great ideas. I don't find myself even necessarily that funny or very talented comedically, but I'll put some energy behind it. I'll go for it. And people sometimes appreciate that, especially in Minnesota. So we found these secrets, and this is the second book that we wrote that helps college students and theater departments write sketches. And so we look at how we do that and share that with them. But let's talk about what these secrets are. The first thing that we do is that we have to accept all ideas. Remember, at the top of the funnel, we're talking about volume. So for us to come up with 600 ideas in 72 hours, we don't have time to judge. And you might have heard me just say, accept all ideas that we have a budget for, that I'm comfortable with, that I think will work, that make sense for our brand, that are part of this project. I'm not talking about those, because those are real easy to accept. I'm talking about ideas that are ridiculous, that will not work. Absolutely everyone in the building will hate, and that will give you a rash. You have to accept those at the top of the funnel with as much enthusiasm as you do great ideas. Know that we're not talking about implementation. We try to accept and all ideas just at the beginning. Because the next thing that we're about to do is to learn how to defer judgment. Here's where the math starts coming into what I believe our innovation process is about. We allow those ideas to bounce off each other, to interact with each other, and this deferring judgment for 15% of that funnel allows that math, that fermenting to happen. And what almost always happens is that our end result was never thought of originally. It is a product of the process. That's why there's bulk at the top of the process. And so we really believe this deferring judgment helps that process get going. It's spring in Minneapolis, and so Sunday, my wife and I were all excited because our first batch of compost was ready. 2 years that stuff's been brewing. Because, you can make compost even when it's 40 below. It's still warm. It's working. It's creating something from all these different parts. So we spread it over in the garden. It was kind of a teary moment for us, our first birth of compost. But this ability to combine and create something different. We also think if you judge that idea right away, you're not only killing that idea, but you're killing all that idea's potential. What it might affect other ideas. We do, about halfway through the funnel, we do this exercise where we'll take 2 ideas, improvise them at the same time on stage on purpose. And we'll have half do one and half do other, and then just do a scene together, see what happens, crush them together. I'll give you an example of that exercise that really, really worked for us. I walked into the room, I said, the theme for the show is humor in the workplace. Idea number 118 was, I hate river dance. Idea number 472 was, worst job in the world is copy repair person. Originally, I don't know what either of those ideas really meant. As owner of the theater and someone who came from kind of a judgmental background and a judgmental corporate environment, I could have said, what does river dance have to do with the workplace? We don't have a copier. We have a small stage. You expect me to go rent a copier? Where's the budget for the copier? They did the copy guy on Saturday Night Live. This is boring. This is bad. Come on, folks. Let's come up with some great ideas. But we need 600, and we deferred judgment. They combined. The writers started writing together. We improvised them together. And ultimately, what we came up with was one of the best sketches or songs that we've ever done on our stage. It was a fully choreographed, fully sung musical parody of Riverdance, but it was a story of Seamus O'Leary, third-generation Irish copy repair person. He immigrated to Minneapolis because Dunwoody Institute had such a world-renowned copy repair person's licensing program. And he got his certificate, and one stormy night, 3M called. They had a copier that no one could fix. They tried everyone in town. Seamus was expensive, but he was good, so they went to him as a last resort. He rode over to 3M headquarters through the storm, and he battled that behemoth for 6 hours. It was as big as a VW bus. He found 20 ounces of Mr. Pibb. He found the missing Watergate tapes. There was a lot of crap in this thing, but he fixed it. And of course, it's an Irish song, so in the process, he lost his life. So if you see a smudge on your copy, that's a little bit of Seamus. We put it at the end of the first act. We ran it in 3 separate shows because every week someone will write us a letter, could you please do that Riverdance thing again? About 80% of the time it gets a standing ovation as we go into intermission, which is very, very rare in the theater business. So deferring judgment helps us create something that is better than all of our individual ideas, better than our whole group. I would have cut both of those ideas. If I would have been in kind of my typical place, I would have said all those things. We don't have a copier. Forget it. Just move on. Let's talk about the office. Third thing that we do is we accept styles and different levels of focus. I guess this is our diversity thing. We're asked to do diversity workshops once in a while, and we just kind of say no because we don't really get what it means. Because as an improviser, if you ever judged an idea, let alone someone's skin color or their race or their sexual preference or their religion, when would we have time for that? The idea comes your way and you just say thank you for it. There's no need to judge. So our diversity program's real quick. Accept everybody. Okay, we're done. It's just the way it works as an improviser. So mostly for an improviser, that means kind of styles of communication. In a cast of 5 people, we want someone in our theater who's real political, someone who's real physical, someone who's real quick-witted, maybe someone who looks a certain way, someone who looks a different way. We want a real big variety. And so our accepting styles is really kind of the notion of let's accept people's styles as a way to get them to produce in their own way and as a way to get them to produce the most. I own an idea factory. The more ideas my 52 employees create, the more money I make and the happier our customers are. So why would I ever want to force you to produce in a style that wasn't best suited for you? So we embrace all styles and all levels of focus. And you'd be surprised on how many comedians and how many improvisers are actually not extroverts at all. They would much prefer just a little tablet and write down some notes. They don't want to have a brainstorming session in front of their peers. They're very, very kind of quiet. So we figure out ways to gain their information in lots of different ways so we can add value to the whole project. We declare, probably not as big a deal out here, but I'm from Minnesota, so I always talk about it. The ability to tell other people quickly and concisely what your point of view is and what your opinion is and what your idea is vital to an improv scene. We need to figure out each other's deal in the first 3 to 5 seconds because we're dancing. So if we don't know what each other's deals is, we stumble. But declaration of point of view, scene goes forward. In Minnesota, that's a tough thing because we've got this disease called Minnesota nice. Unbelievably polite. Forthright communication is sometimes looked upon as being abusive or arrogant. I call it the Norwegian Lutheran verbal square dance. Just say what you think now, so I know what your deal is. My wife's Lutheran Norwegian, I'm Irish Catholic. I've never had an edited thought in my life. I just, bleh, oh, sorry. I don't know what I just said. I hope I didn't offend too many. Bleh, bleh. And it's different in her background. Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, whatever, you're sitting around on the couch. Silence. Sure was good ham. Yeah. Bet you the sun will set soon. Yeah. Christmas at the Sweeney family, no blood, no Christmas. You got to be screaming, yelling, this is fun. So my wife and I, through 7 years of therapy, has developed a system that works. She now tells me exactly how she feels within 6 months of actually having that emotion. And so now I gauge that and I know what to expect. But we don't have time. We got to get points of view out at the top of the funnel because we got work to do. Declare early and often, just how like they vote in Chicago. Vote early, vote often. Statusless environment. This is a big one I see in kind of the old boy classic corporations. Group of people is brainstorming, bubble, 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 jiffy pop, lots of ideas, fun, everyone's having a great thing. And then he or she, who is vice president, walks in room. Shoulders drop, smiles go away. People start worrying if they're going to say the right thing. People start worrying if they're saying things that will affect their bonus. To me, I could care less about all that crap. I'm just about production and efficiency of how many ideas we can produce. It reduces the productivity of that idea factory immediately. And here's what I've learned in the last 5 years of working with lots of leaders. A lot of times, it's not the leader's deal. It's not the leader's fault. Because I get to know the leader. The leader wants that group to perform in their own style. Really is an empowering person. The employees are the ones who decide that there's this artificial status. They give up too much of themselves. The leader doesn't want that. The leaders want them to be crazier when I walk in the room. Be more of yourself. They're smart enough as leaders to understand the more we're ourselves, the more we produce. But somehow, we decide, well, now they're here. I need to act a little bit differently. And it shuts down the whole factory. So this statusless communication, the other thing I see is what I call the meeting after the meeting. When the leader comes in, everything shuts down, and the leader says, anyone else have any more ideas? Trying to facilitate this. We need robust diversity in our idea generation. Anyone? Nothing. Then the meeting after the meeting happens. On the cell phones, smoke breaks in the bathrooms, on the weekends. You hear people saying, well, you know, if anyone in this company ever asked me my opinion, I'm going to tell them. I was about to say. Have those meetings during the meeting. One of my thoughts was to have the meeting, and then say the meeting's over, now let's have the meeting. Because it's those are the ideas that we need. So try to reduce status. And as leaders, recognize that. Make it a status-free environment for those that you lead. Make them, just say it. You be yourselves, please. I want you to do whatever you think's best. Don't change your behavior because I'm in the room. We try to create a reward system. This one we always say, well, what is that reward system? Is it money? Is that? To be honest, it's just how we try to treat people. We try to come up with this kind of every single day remembrance of someone comes up with an idea, we say thank you. And we try to create almost a Pavlovian environment that people think, I come up with an idea, I see smile. I come up with more ideas. and sometimes it's that simple. For some reason in the graphic arts departments of companies, you see people who are wonderfully talented and innovative, and they hear no so much, wrong color, don't like it, won't work, that they start worrying about whether or not they can come up with more ideas. Because their response is come up with an idea, get judged right away, don't want to come up with more ideas. So try to say yes to their ideas, because you're also saying yes to that person. The other thing that we help corporations with is let's try to recognize this idea generation process a little bit earlier in the process. I do a lot of master of ceremonies work, at awards ceremonies, a lot of sales organizations. So, we made our sales mark, 17% increase this year. Here, bring up Bob Johnson. He's going to Maui. Woo! Well, what about the people who came up with the idea to start the program, to do this, to make the programming, blah, 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 18 months? Where are they? They want to go to Maui. But we tend to justify our rewards through the results. What we do in our process is when we hit 600, we did it. We're done. Good job. Congratulations. We did a wonderful job. The rest takes care of itself, and we can't control half the rest. If if one of the actresses looks like the critic's old girlfriend, he's going to hate the show. We can't do anything about that. So we try to reward ourselves for just going through the process, and the results will take care of themselves. It doesn't mean we're not accountable. We're accountable financially, we're accountable to our customers, but we try to at least say good job in the idea generation process, not just the results. Yes first is our big jargon term. It's our conduit to the next action point. It gets us to finding the solution ultimately. It's fuel to get us there, a stepping stone. In 18 months of education in our School of Improvisation, the single hardest thing for us to do is to help people say yes more than they say no. It's almost disheartening about human nature. We do exercises where you have to say yes before you start your sentence, and people won't do it, and then you'll say, you didn't say yes at all. Oh yeah, I did every time. They don't even know that they're saying no. We say no, we say no, we say no. And we'll argue about that. There's this sense of kind of control. As improvisers, it's ridiculous sometimes. I'll give you an example. I was doing a scene once, and we all kind of were miming this like we were swimming in water. And then the piano player, who's part of our team, started playing the theme from Jaws. Now it got exciting. We got a shark in the water, maybe. Well, the actress who had started the scene and kind of let us know that we were in water, she got so ticked off, looked at us all, she walked off stage, came back in the next scene. But we had to stop that scene. She was so mad. And after the show, we talk about set, and we said, what was your deal? She goes, well, I had clearly established that we were in fresh water. Because I guess this is the international sign for fresh water. And it was a wonderful night because one of the cast members was from New Zealand. And he was just in Minnesota for a year. And he goes, well, actually, Allison, there's 3 freshwater species of sharks just in my neighborhood in New Zealand. So not only was she judgmental, she was wrong. And, but oh no, how dare you? This control of our own ideas. Just say yes. I consider myself a pretty good improvisational performer. And I rarely come up with ideas. But you tell me what to do, I'll say yes to it. Well, my head's on fire. Great. Ooh, I'm a cow. I don't care. Yes, 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 yes. I'll go to the next idea. Change is fuel. You guys are great because we have to buy updates about every 6 months, right? So you understand. Change is financial fuel for you guys. But a lot of groups think change is more work. It's less stable. It is all those things. But remember, we're improvisers. If we don't change every 3 to 5 seconds, we lose you. So we try to initiate change to boost us forward, to get us to the next place. And as you can imagine in this marketplace, it's unavoidable. So those are the 8 things that we've learned through improvisation. Those are the things that we try to embrace as we run our company and as we produce our products. Those are the things that I try to help groups look at their innovation a little bit differently to increase the number and quality of the ideas when I work with those groups. The best way for us to understand those 8 secrets is to do exercises that show us those 8 secrets. The overriding theme for all of the secrets and everything that we do in the book, in our theater, and today is that none of it matters if you don't create an environment that is safe. Safe for people to be themselves. So as facilitator of this little meeting, I will monitor that. I promise you that this is a safe place. I will not ask anyone to do anything that's emotionally or physically risky. I won't make fun of anyone. You want to make fun of me? That's great. I actually love it. But this will be a creatively safe place. And we'll actually even put a process in to make sure that it's safe. All the exercises that we do will be completely volunteer. So I'm not going to put anyone on the spot. It's a real important thing. What we have to do to embrace that, though, is when people come up and volunteer for these fun exercises, the rest of us have to show them that this is a safe place by clapping and by saying, good job. Because it's not that I'm going to ask you to take some big risks, but you don't improvise in front of your friends and your coworkers every day. So it's different. But that's part of this safe environment, is to say, yeah, good job. Go do that simple thing. We are going to do the most simple exercises from our school. So what we're going to do is some exercises that people in your situation are doing every single night. So none of it is a big deal. And we're just going to focus on some fun exercises that will kind of show us what these 8 secrets are about. So let's have a big round of applause if we're okay with that. Yeah! Remember, a little bit of energy. Okay, great. So the first thing is real simple. It's just a communication exercise because as improvisers, we have to go back to the basics a lot. I'm a communicator for a living, and every single day I try to work on my skills. And so this first one, it's the easiest one we do, and it'll really show you kind of the tone of what we're going to do. So for this one, I need 5 or 6 people to come join me. Come on. Come on up here and join me. Give me a round of applause. Here we go. There's 1. There's 2. Come on up. Come on. It'll be fun. There's 3, 4, 5. That's great. Come on. And we'll just make kind of thank you. We'll just kind of make kind of a semicircle because eye contact's important for this one. We'll widen it out, though. We'll use the whole space. Yeah, come on. When I say 5 or 6, I mean 2 to 1,000,000. Okay. We can just widen out a little bit more. There we go. So all that's going to happen is 2 people are going to clap together at the same time. So I'll choose you, and you and I will clap together. And then you'll make eye contact with someone and clap with them. Okay? And then you've got it, and you'll choose someone, and you'll clap with them. And then you'll choose someone. You'll choose someone. You'll choose someone. You'll choose someone. Clap. Okay, that's right. You'll choose someone. Good. And you'll choose someone. And we'll clap at the same time. That's good. You'll choose someone. Good. Here we go. Good. I'll choose someone. Okay, give them a round of applause. Good job. Stay right here. So I purposely don't explain much of this one because our learning points come from what we can do better. It's a simple communication exercise. Time and distance, sender and receiver of information, trying to communicate together. Think of, though, that there aren't the challenges of language, of inflection, of preconceived ideas. It's a pretty simple form of communication, and yet we still didn't do perfect. We had confusion, or you clapping with her, or who you clapping with, all kinds of things. And so what we do in this exercise is we look at the model, we look at the system, and we look at our own individual skill sets, and we try to raise the stakes on all of it. So the first thing, let's look at our system. We've got some sight lines that are a problem in this communication system. It's a bit shallow here. So if I'm here, which one of you? So let's widen out. Let's recognize that our communication channels can be improved. Now, when you choose someone, it'll just be clear. That could be where we set up our offices. That could be how we meet with people. For me, it's the reply all. Could you just the next time, just take it out. Take it out of the program. We don't need reply all. It's killing us. Because here's what I do. I reply all to a group of people in my company who I want to change their behavior because maybe, we need to improve on something. And I'm really just talking about him or her, one person. But I do, reply all. It's so easy. And every single time I get an email back that says, thank you so much for bringing this up because some people in our office really, really needed to hear it. Yeah, you were the person who needed to hear it. But I hit reply all, and so you think that's license to not listen to it at all. So one-on-one, that's my fault as communicator. I should take that person out to lunch or fire her like I did yesterday. Oh, no, I didn't. It was last week. So we create a better system. Next thing we do is we'll just be a little bit more deliberate. Eye contact. If I want to communicate with you, I'm going to look at you first. Again, it's not the stare down thing. And again, we've got to be respectful of people's styles and comfort level. We did a survey with the University of Minnesota just to prove, and no one's ever gotten impregnated via eye contact. Because in Minnesota, they wonder. This is the Minnesota Good Morning. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Nice to see you too. Sorry for taking your air. Sorry. Greet people, whatever it is. And again, we have to respect it, but some sort of thing that says we are about to communicate. We'll be deliberate with our hands, too. Remember, we're gonna do this real fast, so we'll all get our hands right here. As silly as it sounds, it just takes this away. But when we get moving, that's going to be a big percentage, okay? So we'll just try to get a little bit better. And then just as a group, we'll decide to be a little bit more intent. Here we go. Nice and slow. We'll clap together. Here we go. Clap together. There we go. Oh, just the two, I'm sorry. No, it's my fault. You got it? There we go. Okay, give me a round of applause for that real quick. We'll do it a couple more times. So Part of what we do as improvisers is get real fast at respecting our receiver to make sure they're ready for our message. In this game, it looks like this. Oh, hey, wow, that's fast. But make sure that you're not communicating with the person until their receptors are available. I'm horrible at this because my energy is so high. We have this woman from North Dakota, just brilliant, but very quiet and introvert. And I walk into her office and go, Dawn, how's it going? I got a great idea. This is a great day. And she wets herself and she quits. So she's not ready for Fatty to come in and give her 100%. So Dawn, whenever you're ready to talk about something, I'll be in my office. That works. So let's not clap until that person is ready. Make sure that their message can be heard. That also is the style. Some people just send them an email. Some people want to go out to lunch. Some people want to be in a group. But don't send your message until your receivers let you know that they're ready to receive it. And we'll start out slow. We're going to try to communicate well first before we go fast. So don't put any pressure on ourselves. But then let's gradually and organically increase our pace if that's what the group feels like, okay? So we'll just do it well. We got to give them a round of applause for that. So when we were doing it, if we're a company that likes to measure our improvement, we increased our communication efficiency by 614.7%. We got a lot better, less confusion, we got faster, it was clearer communication, because we just did some simple things, changed our system, got a little bit more intent, created a little bit more energy. So now let's do it real well, and let's just see how fast we can go, okay? Let's get a little competitive. And again, competitive, excited in your own fashion. I played linebacker, so this means competitive for some reason for me. But whatever you want to do, but let's just really try to do this well as a team. I'll give you another hint. Yeah, we can step in a little bit. Is watch the clap move. That will keep you intent. But keep your eye on where it's going, as if it's a ball almost, okay? Here we go. It's okay. Keep going. You got it? Here we go. Good job. Great. Perfect. Way to go. Nice. Great. Good job. Nice. I got a microphone in my pocket. There we go. Give him a round of applause. Stay right here. We'll do it one more time. Less than 5 minutes ago, it was this. Wasn't very good, like all groups are. We've improved our communication so drastically, and it's only been 5 minutes. The biggest thing that I see happening in innovation, as far as a flaw, is we forget that no matter how good our ideas are, if we don't clearly communicate them to the rest of the group, no one will know them. And that's got language, that's got interpretation, that's got status, all this stuff. We're just clapping. So I beg you, every day, work on how clearly you can communicate your ideas. We're going to start at a pace, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Let us go for a little while, then start clapping with us. Then ask us to increase our pace, and watch our heads explode. Okay, we'll start out slow. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Okay, go ahead, clap with us. Keep going. All right, good. Go ahead, have a seat. Thank you. Very nice. So this is the part that we'll learn the most. We'll share briefly some insights. Did you notice that all of a sudden when they showed up, the dynamic changed? We're pretty good as a group. When did they show up? Who are they? They're not part of our group. What do they know? So for people who participated, tell us how it felt that last time. What was different?
It was very distracting. Felt kind of lost. Like it was. So we were kind of in this our own little world, and there's kind of like all these people intruded in our little world.
That's perfect. And did you notice, like lots of people do, that you didn't really notice they were here the first couple times? And then they showed up? I mean, because physically you were all here the whole time. But we didn't know you were here because we were focused on the task at hand. How about some other insights about that last time? From people, yes?
So we started to become, or at least myself, I started to become driven by the background noise, not driven by the people I was connecting with.
Yep. So what was motivating you changed almost?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it got worse.
Yeah.
Our performance got worse the more the cacophony distracted us.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the opposite. I found it empowering for the class.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even notice it was there until we messed up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now it was accountable to something besides the group maybe, or at least it was compared to something besides the group. Yeah. It's usually about 50-50. You get a group of type A, sales-driven people, bring it on. Clap as much as you want. We're the fastest clappers in the world. They love that pressure. They love the outside force. But some folks, you know, it affects them differently. I usually do this in a day-long workshop, so we're flying through stuff, and I want to show you more than tell you, because you can go on the website and read the book, that sort of stuff. So let's do another one. This was about how people work together. This is another very, very easy one. We need at least 5 people to join me for this one. Come on up. Give them a round of applause. Come on, make it safe. Here we go. Come on, Microsoft. There's 1. There's 2. Here we go. Come on, keep going. 2 more. There's 3. Wonderful. Couple more. Come on. There we go. Thank you. Okay, we'll just stand in a line here, and this is real simple. We're going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we're going to count in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we don't know who's going to say what number when. We're going to do that randomly. And what will happen is 2 people will speak at the same time, and we'll fail. And then we'll have to go all the way back to 1 and start over. It'll be horrible. Okay? But eventually, and it'll take us a while, eventually we will count to 10 without 2 people speaking at the same time. Now, I know systems are important in this workplace. So you can create a system like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know you can do that. This is to try to do it randomly. And so if I see a system generated, I'll probably step in and say a number to mess it up. I'm not much for conformity at all. I was 5 years old, and Sister Pedra told me to draw inside the lines, and I didn't want to do that. And then she told me to draw inside the lines and color this bear in, and I colored it in blue, and she said bears were brown instead of blue, so I turned the page over, and I wrote a picture of a nun on fire. And then she didn't mess with me ever again. So for improv, systems are different. Not that I don't like them, but for this game, let's not have them. So here's a couple of hints. Slow. Very, very relaxed, and just know that you'll know when you're supposed to say your number. There isn't a way to do this. There's no tricks. Just relax and do it, and when someone wants to start, they'll say 1.
1, 2.
Good. Start over. Good job.
1, 2.
Good. Start over. That's good.
1,
2,
3, 4,
5,
6, 7, 8,
9.
10.
Yeah! Third time. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Third time is very, very quick. It's usually about 7 to 10 times is what it usually takes. So that's great. I'll give you the worst and best scenarios of this. Best ever, a group did it. They counted to 10 the first time, and then I said that was very good. If you can count to 15 the first time, this next time, I'll give everyone in the room free tickets to the theater tonight. $3,400 big mouth decision on my part. They counted to 15 the next time. It's the only time any group's ever gone to 10 first and then 15. National Association of Administrative Assistants. They were all women.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had never met each other. They were all from different cities. And we talked about it later. And they said they had no status. And they had, in their daily workplace, they don't have a need to kind of control how it's going to work. They're too busy getting it done. They just got to go get it done. And so they just said, well, we should count to 10. Everybody ready? Okay. They just counted to 10. It was that simple for them. Worst ever was a law firm in Minneapolis, and I don't want to say who it was, but I was doing a deal for Fagery and Benson, and I'm just kidding. It was Lindquist and Benham, and so they hired me because the organization was having kind of a roadblock in idea migration. the new staffers, the new associates were coming up with lots of new industries, lots of new technology, lots of new practices. And as the idea would migrate up, it would get stopped by the 65-year-old guy in the bow tie who's in the steam room at the health club. They just had always done things this way, and they weren't going to do them anything different. So they hired me to help change that. Well, unfortunately, one of the bow tie guys, not that I don't like bow ties, was in this group. So I bring him up, and I hadn't even really fully explained the entire thing. And he goes, I know how this works. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. And he made them count in order, the order he picked. He was so uncomfortable with his group having their own style or whatever that and so I'm like, oh, and he was writing the check that day too. So I'm like, I am so screwed. What am I supposed to do? So I was like, oh, improv gods, help me now. So I go, that's great. Really good job. You guys make 2.5 a year, and you can count to 10 in order. Great job. But I said, this is a progressive improv exercise, and we do it with one less person each time. You, sir, have a seat, and we'll try it differently. And I was like, yes, thank you. So I got his butt off stage, and then we were able to do it. So now let's try to go to 15. Again, slow pace. We won't do it perfectly, but just mellow out, and it'll happen.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
6, 7, 8,
9.
Oh, really good. That's good. Start over. Good job.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6,
7,
8,
9, 10,
11,
12, 13.
14.
Ooh, very, very close. Let's go. It's good. Good job. We'll get it. Keep going.
1,
2, 3,
4,
5.
Good.
7. 9.
I'm okay.
10.
11.
Oh! Looks like we cheated and then God punished us. Yeah. It says, can we look at each other? If that's what you like to do, that's great. Yep. So we'll get to 15. Go ahead. Try it.
2,
3,
4, 5.
Good. Okay, now let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Let's do it with our eyes closed and see if that works.
1.
Almost. Real nice and slow. You'll know.
2, 3,
4,
5, 6, 7,
8,
9, 10, 11,
12.
13.
Ooh, almost. That's the pace, though. That's nice. Just know you don't have to say a number if you don't want to, and you'll just know.
1, 2, 3,
4,
5,
6,
7, 8, 9,
10,
11, 12, 13, 14.
15.
Good job. So again, I try to mold my message to what's appropriate for who I'm speaking to in the corporate world and all that sort of stuff. But this is almost spiritual to me. It feels differently when they're going to do it. Did you see me start shaking my head? I just knew they would do it. It feels differently. There's a sense of ease, a sense of the groove. In athletics, you see people who seem that they're doing so well, it's effortless. Those ideas, if you're writing, they just come to you. You're in a relationship that's completely comfortable, and you just together. It just works. And when I see groups in that groove, it just works. And again, I don't have any proof. I'm just a cow farmer from Wisconsin. But I know what it feels like every single solitary time. And I know what it feels like when it's not working. Struggling, trying to create this, do this, and then, or people who don't generally work together can do a 15-step process without any emails, voicemails, strategic plans, or meetings. They can figure out how to do 15 steps without anyone knowing what they're supposed to do and what role they're supposed to play. Because we're built to work with each other. We're survivalists. We have to. So let's take it at the same pace. If we fail right away, big deal. But let's just see how far this group can go.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
6, 7, 8,
9,
Good job. Give him a round of applause. Go ahead and have a seat. Again, I'm flying to show you as many as I can, so we won't talk a lot about these. But know what you're learning. Watch what you're learning. See that pace is important. See that trust is important. Seeing that sometimes a system isn't always the answer. Sometimes organic, random teamwork works also. And then also know that there's something, I think, whether it's the creative universe or whatever, that's bigger than the individuals that helps us figure it out. And it feels differently. Anyone who wasn't involved, what did it look like when we were doing it? Did you notice anything, or did you have any insights on that? Just shout it out.
Relaxed.
Much more relaxed. What else?
Serene.
Serene. And in an odd way. I mean, I didn't ask the room to get into the lotus position and start humming. But it kind of felt like that. Yes, sir. Generous. Yeah. Did you notice how we kind of figured out how everyone would get their fair share without deciding that? And then did you also notice that it was okay for people not to say a number? And then mathematically, did we notice that they were helping the team maybe more? Because the only way we can fail is if two people say a number. Not that you don't ever want to say a number, but you know what I mean? I'm the type of guy who's like, well, the way I can help is to do more. Hey, I'll do more. Or shut up, which I never do. Okay, let's play a little brain teaser. This one's fun, and this group will be really fabulous at it. So let's actually try to get 5 on the dot for this one. Round of applause. Come on, here we go. Feel the energy. Come on, let's go. Come on, have some fun. Good. There's 1. Thank you. There's 2. Come on, 3, 4. 1 more. 5. Great. Okay, this is going to be good. This is going to sound incredibly sexist, but men do this horribly compared to women. So, can I have a couple extra hours? Huh? We'll be here. No, this will be fun. This is called the pattern game, and I'm just going to do it because when I explain it, it gets more confusing. Make a little bit more of an arch. When I point to you, please say a type of car. And then I'll point to you 5 in the same order, and we'll learn that pattern. Say the same car at the same time every single time. So when I point to you, say a type of car.
Audi. Ferrari. Porsche. Chevy. Jaguar.
Same car.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Keep practicing.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Keep going.
Ferrari.
Porsche.
Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche.
Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche.
Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Okay, great. Let's do it a couple more times, a little bit slower. And I want you to be mindful of just remembering the car before you as your prompter car. When I hear that car, I say my car. Try to keep it that simple, because in about 30 seconds, I'm going to make your life hell. Okay? Go ahead.
Ferrari. Porsche. Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari. Porsche. Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Okay, great. Put that pattern in a safe place, but try to just focus on and be mindful of when I hear the car before me, I say my car. Now we're going to memorize a separate pattern. When I point to you, say a type of fruit.
Banana. Pear. Apple. Grapefruit.
Tangerine.
Same.
Banana. Pear.
Apple.
Grapefruit.
Tangerine.
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 Banana.
Okay, great. We'll do it a couple more times. Just be mindful of when I hear the fruit before me, it prompts me to say my fruit.
Banana. Pear. Apple. Grapefruit.
Tangerine.
Banana. Pear.
Apple.
Grapefruit.
Tangerine.
Banana. Pear.
Okay, great. I got to tell you, you guys are doing better than most, so I'm kind of excited because we are going to get this done by noon and we'll be good. What we're going to do is we're going to start the cars. After we do it a couple times, I will prompt you to start the fruit. We will keep the cars going, and we will keep the fruit going. Okay? So we will hear both patterns. You just have to, you're going to do fine. You just have to remember 2 things. When I hear the car before me, I say my car. When I hear the fruit before me, I say my fruit. Remember that the patterns are independent of each other. So the pace at which you'll be asked to say your car or fruit will be different every single time. So it can be Chevy, apple. Chevy, apple, Chevy, apple. Just do 2 things. When you hear the fruit before you say your fruit, when you hear the car before you say your car. Okay, we'll start with cars.
Audi.
Ferrari. Porsche. Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche.
Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche.
Chevy. Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari. Banana.
Porsche.
Pear.
Chevy.
Jaguar.
Grapefruit. Tangerine.
Banana. Pear.
Apple.
Actually, that's pretty good. This is usually the second thing that happens. The first thing that usually happens is we get to go and then we introduce the fruit and it just goes. People faint. You just hear brain lock. But they didn't do that. What they did is use the second thing is we started one and then we dropped the first one. No, it's this thing. So we're going to keep them both going. Again, just we're on time. Here's what's happening, and here's the hints I'll give you. We might be doing one of these three things. The first thing we might be doing is we might be spending too much of our energy and focus externally figuring out who's not doing their job. So if you notice that we dropped one of them, that means you're noticing something besides what you're supposed to be noticing, and that's just listening for your 2 words. So don't worry about anyone else. Just remember your 2 words. Second thing is, maybe we heard me say we need to memorize the pattern and then understand our role within the pattern. So we heard, no, me, no, me. That's not what I ask you to do. Just rely on that one before you. And then the third thing is just try to stay with us. Don't check out, because you try to stay focused. Because, Mr. ADD boy, it's tough for me. I don't do this. I get a rash. So, I'll be like, Apple, Chevy. I mean, it's just carpet cleaner. There's a stain here and there's a stain here. Last time I checked, Gates has got a couple of dollars in his pocket. Run a rug doctor, for crying out loud. They're steaming mad at dirt. I mean, let's get... Oh, Chevy, sorry. So stay with us, all right? And let's take it nice and slow, and also the louder and clearer you say your word, the more you help your team. Okay, cars, please.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari. Banana.
Porsche.
Pear.
Chevy.
Jaguar.
Grapefruit. Audi. Tangerine.
Pear. Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari. Banana. Pear.
Apple. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Grapefruit. Audi. Tangerine.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar. We like cars.
Yeah, that's what we like cars. But they had it for a little while, right? It was pretty good. So again, don't worry about, remember it's 2 circular patterns. So if we drop fruit, big deal. Let it go for a while. And if someone else wants to start fruit, we can start it anywhere in the pattern because it'll start again. But the other thing is let's defer judgment a little bit, because maybe someone isn't saying apple because they just said Cadillac. And give them a second or 2 before. And you guys are actually pretty good. Again, it's a pretty non-judgmental group. A lot of times you'll always have people just going, Chevy, apple. Apple! Thank you, banana. God, it's just a game. And I'm the worst. When I'm doing this with execs, I'm playing it with them, and I'm like, he's director of finance for General Mills, and he can't remember Chevy? I hate his tie. I'm going to kill that guy. It's a game, so don't worry about what other people are doing. Just remember your 2 things. We'll start with cars.
Ferrari. Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari.
Porsche. Chevy.
Jaguar.
Audi.
Ferrari. Banana.
Porsche.
Pear.
Chevy.
Apple. Jaguar.
Grapefruit. Audi. Tangerine.
Ferrari. Banana.
Porsche.
Pear.
Chevy. Apple. Grapefruit.
Jaguar.
Tangerine. Audi.
Banana. Ferrari. Pear.
Porsche. Apple. Chevy. Grapefruit.
Now they're just messing with me. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good job. Because again, we found that pattern. A couple people in a row had to say both theirs real quick, but that just happened to be random. That wasn't by design. But thanks for making me look foolish in front of biggest speaking opportunity in my life. So just wait on it and stuff, and slow it down a little bit, and remember the count to 10 game. Just a nice, peaceful pace will really, really help us. And this time we'll knock it out. We'll get into a groove. It'll get a little weird. It'll get a little zen. And the group will watch you transform.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I think by closing our eyes, it helped me.
Sure.
Second part.
Try it out.
Not looking,
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready? So,
No, go ahead. I'm just kidding. No, actually, that is a good suggestion. So try it with your eyes closed. But just slow it down a little bit clear. Okay, we'll start with cars, please.
Audi. Ferrari. Chevy.
Jaguar,
Audi,
Ferrari,
Porsche, Chevy,
Jaguar,
Audi,
Ferrari,
banana,
pear,
Chevy, Apple, Jaguar, grapefruit,
Audi, tangerine,
Ferrari, banana,
Chevy,
pear, apple, grapefruit,
tangerine,
banana, pear, apple, grapefruit, Jaguar,
Audi,
Ferrari,
tangerine,
Porsche, banana, pear, Jaguar, grapefruit,
Audi,
Ferrari,
tangerine, Porsche,
banana, pear, Jaguar, grapefruit,
Audi,
Ferrari,
tangerine,
Porsche,
Good job.
banana.
That's great. Go have a seat. That's it. Good job. Thanks for the suggestion. Again, it feels different, a little bit different. Couple of quick ones for that, and then we'll do some questions. I only had 7 other exercises I planned on doing today, but as you can see, I'm really, really good at estimating time. I'm just such a detail person. The first thing is really educated, really skilled people. I asked them to do 2 things. Remember to say the car after the car and the fruit after the fruit. And it was really, really difficult. I got to tell you, that was pretty quick. Really quick. And again, worst case scenarios or whatever. And I asked them if I could do this. Worst ever, Honeywell Laboratories. Half the group is PhD engineers. The other half at least has a master's in engineering. And for the pre-conference, I asked questions and stuff, and they filled out a questionnaire. Every single answer was no comment. Because it's all top secret, because they're building bombs. And we did it for half an hour and didn't come close. We took a bathroom break because they were going to kill me. We came back. We did it for maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and I was like, all right, yeah, we did it, because I just wanted to go on to the next exercise. So they're engineers, so I wanted to talk to them, so I got them really drunk that night and said, what was the deal? They showed me on a napkin how what I was asking them to do was mathematically impossible. Because of the amount of variables and the relationship of the 2 patterns, it was completely impossible. And I'm thinking, that's wonderful. I just don't want to break it to the 12-year-olds who use it as a warm-up device every Saturday at our theater. Because they're clearly doing something that can't be done. That was really quick and that was really good. We use this as a warm-up. Groups who work with each other a lot at our theater, and I mean they see each other every day and they're improvising every day, do states, fruit, and cars while they throw a ball to each other randomly. And I'm never in the room for that because it's way too much for that's like 4 Ritalin tablets for me to even try to watch that. But it can get better, and we can improve on it. I get so pumped up about this stuff. I wish I could do it all day long. Try to accept all ideas at the top. Volume is needed. Declare your point of view respectfully and make it safe for others to do that. Embrace change. It'll get you to the next place. Yes and, yes and, yes and, yes and. Keep track. Are you a yes and person? Are you a no but person? No but stops a scene and it stops the innovative process. You don't have to say yes to the budget or the staff until the dotted line is signed. Just say yes to get to that wonderfully innovative solution. And then use laughter. Use a sense of play. Don't take everything so seriously sometimes. That will be fuel to get you to the next place. We'll do some question and answers, but I just want you to know I'm taking a big, deep breath. This was a really, really important big day for me. I've been working on this stuff for about 12 years. And to think that I'm here today talking to people of your level about this stuff really means a lot. And I really, really am grateful that you were able to listen to me and have fun with me. Here's the world's best improviser. That's my son, William Joseph Sweeney. So who's got any questions that would like to talk about or comments? Yes, sir?
How do you feel about big groups coordinating and synchronizing and schedules and the idea that, they work to some extent?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
As far as coordinated, like just getting people together in the same room, or?
No, just in general. And when people, within big teams, you have different interactions with people-to-people interactions. You have, kind of aggregate interactions where the teams are supposed to deliver something and meet a date and put it together. There's a bunch of different things, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like your system of ideas is kind of like organic and complex, and that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
How does that fit into something like Microsoft, where you have a team and a dependency on another team? And imagine what would happen if we would just say, all right, let's do stuff for the next 2 weeks.
Sure. Whatever.
I really like the idea, and I think it works.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
How does it
it's an interesting kind of system that needs to let it happen. You actually have to be incredibly disciplined about the planning of the system to allow that much organic whatever happens, happens. But you got to build the project management model to give yourselves the time to come up with the 600, to know that we need I'm making it up, an 11% variable, so when someone comes up with a great idea that takes us on a complete tangent, we've got time to go there. And so what we do is we tend to build time frames and project management models that need to be adhered to so deliberately and specifically that when organic things happen, we don't have the ability to go say yes to them. So to me, it's all about the planning. I mean, if there's one thing I could leave with every company, it's give yourselves more time at the beginning of the process to mess with it and see what happens. They'll spend 5% of the process on idea generation and 80% on refinement of the project in the manufacturing floor. Well, we might have solved a lot of those problems with 5% more of time to mess with them, to flush them out. Yes?
Oh, there's a dilemma there. Yes and no but. If every time you say yes and, then there are so many things coming there. It takes resources to evaluate them and to implement them. And how do you balance the innovation, the quantity of innovation, as well as the resource limitation?
Sure, that's a great question, and it's why we developed the funnel. Because for that very same reason, we'd be about 2 weeks from opening our show, and people are still sitting around smoking cigarettes going, well, what if we did this? Maybe we do that. And I'm like, we got 2 weeks, people. They're going to be in here. We need to practice. We need to costume. We need to sing. We need to get it going. So what we've done is we start gradually saying yes less and working on, so it's a refinement. The leader of the group acts as a newspaper editor, starts cutting, starts organizing, and we at the beginning of the process are completely statusless, and then as we hit the middle, we start deferring our roles to the leader. And a lot of times we'll have a sketch that we disagree with and it'll get cut. But we believe in the process enough to know. But you can't have yes and when it's 3 hours for showtime. And I've been in a group where we had yes and too much, and we had about an hour's worth of material for an hour and a half show, and it was 6 o'clock at night of opening night. So we made it up. I sang a 15-minute song off the top of my head. That was horrible, by the way.
So once you're going through the funneling process and you start doing the addition, you start doing the cuts, do you find that the groups may diverge where you will see that maybe you pick more ideas from one person and less from other people? Does that create different chemistry in the group as you go towards?
Yeah, it does a little bit. And so what we try to do is combat that with two things. We set the expectations at the top of the funnel that ultimately will be that person's decision. And even if you disagree with it, you are relinquishing your ability at the bottom of the funnel. So then it's clear. So then no one has the emotional reaction of, they picked more of their sketches than my sketches and that sort of stuff. The other thing that we do is we've developed a vocabulary to critique the work and not the person. Because we found that phenomenon is mostly they don't value me, not necessarily my idea. So in our language, we talk about the pace of the scene, the length of the scene, how fast we're heightening things, if we're clear, if we're redundant in our satirical point. We really, really talk about the actual product and separate that. And then the other thing on the expectations is no one can work in our theater unless they declare in writing that they believe in this process and that they believe saying yes to the process will create a better product than their idea of the product. You don't come up with the Seamus O'Leary thing by yourself unless you've got really, really good 1960s LSD. It's the only way. Yes.
Do you see a role for technology in helping companies become more innovative software?
I do. There's a couple of kind of idea generation softwares out there which are really just kind of interactive databases where you fill in the blanks and they kind of help you manage that. But I always thought that there's the people side of that. So the tool is to help organize the idea, but what if the tool also had some components to keep motivating the ideas? So it would almost be it would be half logistical and half kind of inspiration. But I think there is. I just don't know what it is.
I'm going to have to stop
Okay.
you. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, everyone.
definitely everybody.
No,